Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to 2023. Can you believe we're there? I was reminiscing with someone the other day that Y2K seems ages ago when we thought planes were going to fall out of the sky, that all of our computers were going to crash, our children will never graduate from school. And in the meantime, though, we survived and we're 23 years out from that. And it's, oh my, where did that time go? So with that, I also want to acknowledge that we have our two new board members with us. Let's give them a round of applause. We have Ms. Butler and Ms. Davis. So exciting to have you join us. So welcome. As usual, we are live captioning our meeting. Please.
Lost volume.
Now we'll try it again. I now have touched it twice. All right. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Burnett, would you choose to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So at this time, I call to order the special meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board of January 10, 2023. For the record, I will call roll call of board members. I'll start with our student trustee, Mr. Burnett.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Bittersmith? Here. Thank you. Ms. Butler?
Present.
Ms. Davis?
Present.
Thank you. Yeah, they're tricky, those buttons, yeah. Dr. Narini?
Present.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Present.
Dr. Thor?
Present.
With my present, we have 7 board members present, and including our student trustee, 8 of us are present this evening. We have 2 items on the agenda today for a special meeting. One is the election of board president, and 2 is the election of board secretary. So now I am going to open the floor for nominations for the office of president.
Madam President,
Yes, Dr. Thor.
I nominate Marie Sullivan as President of the Governing Board for the year 2023.
Are there any more nominations? Being none, then I'm honored to accept the nomination. So I declare the nominations are closed. So all board members in favor of Marie Sullivan serving as president of the governing board for 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Being none, the motion carries 7-0. You know, this is really humbling. This is when you say speech, and I say no. It is very humbling. So we'll move on. So with that, I now open the floor for nominations to the office of secretary. Are there anyone from the floor to offer a nomination?
Mr. President,
Yes, Dr. Narini.
I'd like to nominate Susan Bittersmith for secretary.
Thank you. Ms. Bittersmith, do you want to accept the nomination?
I'm happy to serve if that's what the board would like me to do.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Being none, what all board members in favor of Ms. Bittersmith serving as secretary of the governing board for 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Being none, the motion carries 7-0 with our trustee also voting. And congratulations, Ms. Bittersmith.
Appreciate that.
Any comments?
No, I'm delighted.
Well, I know I can speak for myself. I'm excited for the year ahead. And one of the things that has made the opportunity to work with all of you so great is because that's just what we do. We work together. I'm really honored to serve with my colleagues and think that they're tremendously talented, smart, and very dedicated with great passion to the students of our district. Also, know that we have a great year ahead working with Dr. Gonzalez and your team and leaders. So let's go get them. 2023. What do y'all think? So this is when we will move now and adjourn the special meeting, and note that it is 4:40 p.m. And we will give me 1 minute for some transition, and then we will call to order the agenda review. I'll wait for a signal. Before we start our meeting, board members, I want to draw your attention to a proposed 2023 governing board meeting schedule. It's next to your laptop. The purpose of this is to outline for you as many meetings as we can anticipate with noted times. Which one is a work session, which one is a board meeting. For Ms. Butler and Ms. Davis, one of the things that I've recommended is that on the days of board meetings, noting that they start at 6:30, we mark our calendars out beginning at 4:30 on those days. In the event that there is a work session or such, we can then add it to that time frame in that on that Tuesday. You'll also note we are remaining 2 weeks out from our regular meeting with an agenda review. We have for the past 3 years held those virtually. We continued to do those virtually. Most recently, it's unusual that we would be meeting this evening in person. I think we'll stick with the 2 weeks out, and we will continue to do those virtually just to ensure that we have access to the broadest number of people possible to lead us into good discussions or answer and satisfy any questions. If any board member has any concern about that, just let me know, and we'll see if we can make adjustments. Tomorrow, as you note on this calendar, is a governing board retreat tied to the strategic plan. We'll be joining the CEC, Dr. Gonzalez, and we'll be working with Dr. Borowski and others to walk through our blended concepts and ideas around mission, vision, and values tied to the strategic plan. So just make note of that, and I'll see you all tomorrow at noon. So as soon as Elsa gives me the sign, we're good to go. And let's give Elsa a round of applause. Here she is again. I don't know if you all are aware, but she really does keep me in order. So thank you, Elsa. Thank you. All right. Again, we're live captioning our meetings for anyone who's just joining us. So please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you'll find a link. Please click on that link to open a web page with the live captioning. We note we have a few substitutions today. We have Dr. Frank Wilson, Deputy CHRO, sitting in for Dr. Georgetta Kelly, our Chief Human Resources Officer. We have Dr. Bernadette Lamaza, Associate VP for Dr. Greg Peterson, Chandler Gilbert sitting in, and Dr. Greg Piera, VP for Dr. Kate Smith, except you're here. So we're glad you're here. I see. Well, however it works, we're glad you're here. Thank you. All of a sudden I'm reading this thinking, wait a minute, I just saw you. Okay. So at this time, I call to order the agenda review meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board of January 10, 2023. Today, we will review the agenda for the January 24, 2023 board meeting. Again, though work sessions, agenda reviews are not mandatory. For the record, I will call roll, and I'll start with you, Mr. Burnett.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Bittersmith.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Butler. Thank you. Ms. Davis.
Present.
Dr. Narini.
Present.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Present.
Thank you. Dr. Thor.
Present.
And with my presence again and the student trustee, we have 7 board members and our student trustee joining us this evening. Thank you. So we're going to move then into the agenda review for the January 2024 meeting. As noted, we will follow our traditional process right now, and then we will go into a consent agenda. I don't believe there's anything of note that I need to have called to my attention, Dr. Gonzalez, either under your report or anything prior to that. Is that correct? Thank you. As we move then into the consent agenda, I will read out the items, and if you have any comments, please offer. But item 2 through 5 will be approval of faculty emeritus distinctions to several of our faculty members. I guess that's item 2 through 6, excuse me. Item 7, supplemental staffing support for Maricopa Community College's additional expenditure requests for Acro Service Corporation up to an additional $450,000 on temporary agency services for January through June 2023. Do you have any comment or questions, board members? Being none, we'll move to item 8. Approval of acceptance of a new grant from the Arizona Department of Health Services to Maricopa County Community College District for a 3-year grant from the Nurse Education Investment Pilot Program from February 1, 2023 to June 30, 2025 in the amount of $10,803,891. Comments, questions? I believe, Dr. Narini, you had some questions on this item.
Yes, I came up with some questions and sent them out earlier this morning. What I was hoping to get is this just for the nursing programs, just for the NUR courses. Is that right?
President Sullivan, Dr. Narini, I can have Ms. Bettina Sellis come up, and is Rochelle here today as well? It'll be you. Okay. To answer any questions that you might have. So maybe we'll just keep Bettina up here as these questions roll in.
Yep.
Is that good?
Yep.
Thank you.
Questions roll in.
All right. President Sullivan, Dr. Narini, the nursing expansion pilot is only for AAS and CCL nursing, so NUR and NCE courses. The focus of this money from the governor's office was really to expand nurse educators specifically. So this funding was distributed across the state to the community colleges and universities specifically for that purpose.
Ms. Sellis and Dr. Narini, could you ask the question that you put in writing so everyone knows
Okay.
the question? And then I'm going to, in memory of Mrs. McGrath, say, when you're using the initials, could you spell out what they stand for? Because we do have new members and we'd like to all be clear on that. Thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah. So the question I wrote, and I'll ask we'll send the questions to everybody with the answers at some point.
Yeah, but if you're
Okay.
asking questions tonight that you want her to answer,
Okay.
then if you could ask that question out loud, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. And so that was the question. Will the grant only be used for the AAS nursing and the CCL nursing assistance program, or will other health-related programs such as surgical tech, medical assistance, and nuclear medicine also benefit from the grant? But it sounds like just those two.
Correct.
Okay.
The nursing expansion pilot grant will only support the expansion of all levels of nursing. So nurse assisting, licensed practical nurses, RNs, and the BSN. The funding does not support the growth of non-nursing programs.
Okay, but I guess what I'm getting at is as we're expanding this and we're supporting those students, and so some of those students are going to be taking courses outside the NUR or NCE courses. That's the course number that they'll be taking the classes from. Will this grant will the students be able to benefit from that grant to help support them for other classes that are going to get them to their nursing program, but aren't in the nursing program per se? Like for example, the biology classes and the chemistry classes that they're going to be taking that are required for the nursing degrees.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mrs. Sullivan, Dr. Narini, the funding specifically for the nursing expansion pilot is related to infrastructure and staffing. There's no scholarship funds associated with this funding. Is specifically an investment in institutions to expand their nursing faculty, expand their capacity within nursing programs, but is not direct funding in this particular set of funding for students directly.
But there is funding in there for student success, right? And for retention and that sort of thing. So that, I guess that's where I'm getting at with some of the funding be helping, because we know that the gateway courses for a lot of the programs are going to be their chemistry and going to be their biology classes. And so with this student success portion of this grant be able to be used to help students get through those gateway classes so they get into these programs and graduate.
The funding specifically for the success coaches is exactly that. It's retention support. We know that students who are entering into these nursing programs often are on wait lists. And so there was the proposal for the success coaches was developed in collaboration with our nursing leadership council and nursing faculty to develop a success coach model that is specific to students entering into these careers. So yes.
Okay, so we'll help some of the other students who aren't officially admitted to the program, but are trying to get into the program.
Correct.
Okay, all right. And so we're using the money for supplies and equipment to be purchased. What sort of supplies and equipment are we going to be?
So the supplies and lab equipment, the total amount that we're requesting as part of this is for year one is $1.18 million. So that money is specifically for October of 22 through June of this year, June of 2023, which obviously influenced the proposal's decisions to use funds in year one for equipment and renovations. This includes additional expansion space in simulation labs. And the equipment would include sim equipment like high fidelity adult, child, and baby mannequins, diversity of mannequin equipment, so that we are able to have mannequins that represent the diverse kinds of patients that these students would serve, medication carts, technology, software, and virtual reality equipment. That is kind of some emerging trends in the simulation space.
Okay, and so it wouldn't be any of the consumables or anything the students are using for course fees that we're using for course fees. We're using course fees for now.
No, it would not. It would be
Okay.
for equipment that is used in the nursing program at a higher level than student consumables.
Okay, and so can these funds be used for testing, for student testing?
No, they're only for expansion funds and for faculty.
Okay, but going back to the student success navigators and the retention, would some of those funding be used to help students make sure that they're passing these tests, make sure that they're excelling in these classes?
The intention behind the success coaches is absolutely that, is to provide some wraparound supports to students who are entering into the nursing field in these particular areas with success coach. So that may be connecting them to existing college resources or serving as a point of contact for additional supports that they might need. And so they'll work very closely with the nursing directors at each of the colleges where they are creating a success coach to provide that support.
Okay. So that leads me to the question we had last month when we passed a change in the admissions process for the nursing programs. What did we decide what exactly those changes were and how those are going to impact our enrollment to these programs?
So the specific requirement, so I think it was a little misleading in the category that there were no changes made to the admission criteria. A change was related to the nursing assistant requirement that was made in 2021, and a clarification statement was only added to the existing admission criteria to just clarify the requirement of a nursing assistant completion.
Okay. Thank you. And just so you know, that what I'm doing is trying to look at ways that we can try to save students money, especially with the course fees, because right now our nursing students, by my calculations, are spending $1,232 on the required classes in just course fees alone. And so if we can figure out a way if we could leverage some of these kind of funds or these other kind of grants funds to help reduce some of that. I mean, their nursing classes each have a $155 course fee attached to them. So not to mention the biology class with, $135 and some of the other classes with $80 and $50 course fees to boot. So, I just keep looking for these grants and looking for these ways to help see if we can reduce these course fees for these students. So there were some other questions that I think are just more curiosity that I'll make sure that they're, we don't need an answer here, but if you can reply to the group and let us know some of those. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Thank you, Dr. Narini. Dr. Gonzalez, I think there's been some discussion about how to carry the conversation around course fees on in a different manner going forward. Do you have some thinking around that?
President Sullivan, could you please repeat the latter part of your question?
Okay, I think the button was on, right? Okay, just wanted to make sure. I know we've had discussions about having a work session or something else, another way for us to hone in on the whole conversation around course fees. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Thank you, President Sullivan,
Sure.
clarifying. Yes, in fact, and I believe you may see on this schedule that was given to you that on February 14th, we are going to have a financial aid work session where we will spend some quality time going over the process of awarding financial aid and how students qualify. A lot of the questions that, the really good questions that Dr. Narini brings up when student fees arise. And then we also aim to announce the formation of some group, whether it be a task force or committee, with some group to continue to look at our student fees. And we would be looking for some support from our board by way of liaison back to that group. I'm hoping that with Dr. Narini's passion around this, that he might help and serve on that group in some capacity. That's something that we are working on right now. We're not ready to deliver exactly what that looks like, but we're working on it.
Great. Thank you very much. I think that will help bring us all together on these conversations. Dr. Narini and Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for your time. Moving on then to the consent agenda, we're looking at item 9, approval to issue purchase order to High Tech Network and Security Solutions in the amount of $462,071.97 for the installation of high capacity fiber optic cable at Glendale Community College. Any comments or questions? Being none, we'll move to item 10, approval to issue a purchase order to Sun Country Floors in the amount of $326,203.97 for the replacement of the physical education building main gym floor at Scottsdale Community College. Any comments or questions? Being none, item 11, approval of job order contracting purchase order in the amount of $490,587.79 to Cayente Construction for restroom renovations in the library and learning resource center, Building E at Paradise Valley Community College. Are there any comments or questions? Being none, we'll move to item 12, approval of job order contracting purchase order to GCON Inc. in the amount of $259,917.69 for restroom playground renovations for the child care building at Gateway Community College. Are there any comments or questions? Being none, item 13, approval of support for foreign trade zone designation for CEVA Logistics Corp Power Inc. as the zone user in FTZ Foreign Trade Zone number 277. Are there any comments or questions from board members on this item? All right, item 14, approval of acceptance of new grant award from the U.S. Small Business Administration to Maricopa County Community College District for year 1 funding for the Arizona Small Business Development Center Arizona Network for the period from January 1, 23 through December 31, 2024 in the amount of $576,823. This is an initial award for a project award totaling over $2 million. Any comments or questions? Being none, the last item on the consent agenda for for January 24th is approval to purchase Connex Ed software for use system-wide as a student retention management platform in the amount of $550,000. Are there any comments or questions?
Ms. Sullivan,
Yes, Dr. Thor?
2 questions. In the justification, the statement is made that the Connect Ed software integrates with the current learning management system, Canvas. However, Rio Salado uses Rio Learn. Is this also going to integrate with Rio Learn? I see Kate Smith nodding her head. And then secondly, although it's not explicitly stated, there's an implication that by using the same software across all 10 colleges would result in some cost savings. Do we have some estimate of what that cost savings will be?
Dr. Gonzalez?
President Sullivan, Dr. Thor, I would need to defer to, let's see, our sponsors for this one are Ms. Bettina Sellis and Dr. Keisha Brock. I believe I also saw Dr. Kelly in the room. Go ahead, Bettina. Thank you.
President Sullivan, Dr. Thor, the cost savings, so currently ConexEd is being leveraged by 7 of our colleges using individual contracts. And so to move to a district-wide contract, we would engage in a system-wide contract of $550,000. Let's see, I'm phoning a friend for the exact cost difference. She's typing now. But it is a pretty significant savings and obviously from an economy of scale related to our practices around case management and retention, which is really our hope and how we would leverage this tool. We anticipate that there'll be some significant savings and learnings that we would then hope to be able to turn around and leverage within the assist system that Mark's team is continuing to build out. So this is a feature set that's not currently available in the tool that we're hoping to have some learnings from over the next 15 months to 3 years while they build a similar set of functionality. So that's kind of the strategy around this.
Very good. Thank you.
I have a question. I'm just wondering, why is the contract for 15 months?
President Sullivan, Ms. Smith, the contract is for 15 months because with the existing contracts that we have in place, we have a number of our colleges whose contracts will be ending shortly. And if we ended them before the 15 months, it would, extending to 15 months allows us potentially a whole year and 3 months to kind of get any procurement in order. So if it is determined that we would continue on with this tool, we'll roll straight into procurement, which would give us enough sufficient time to go through the procurement process and then come back and either begin to transition our teams to a different tool or just kind of make a plan for our 3-year strategy, which has been laid out by the Vice Presidents of Student Affairs.
Thank you. And one follow-up question. Do you know, because it said that previously 7 of the colleges were using it and now you'll be moving to 10, do you know if the 3 were not using any tool or if they will actually be switching tools? And then I have a follow-up based on your
Sure.
response.
So it is my understanding that the 3 institutions did not have a tool like this. They had been using various kinds of workaround systems to provide that kind of tracking and support. So they will be moving to this tool starting as soon as this contract is signed.
Thank you. And my thinking around this is if there can be some great data collection showing the improvements from the 3 that are moving from not using it to using it, I feel like there could be opportunities to seek philanthropic investment for continued use of this tool and other related tools.
Great. I appreciate that feedback. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
I'm going to ask, Dr. Cohn, did you have anything you wanted to add or comment? So some interesting, eye movement behind that mouth. Thank you.
He's projecting his thoughts over here.
Yeah, there you are. It works, right? So are there any other comments or questions around the consent agenda for the next 2 weeks? All right, being none, then we'll move to conversation if we have any on the non-consent action items for the 24th. And that first one, is approval of 2 new memorandums of understanding for the 22-23 faculty agreement regarding administrative evaluation and occupational minimum hiring qualifications. Do we have any discussion on those items for potential approval action at next meeting? Dr. Thor? I can read your mind now, you know?
Do you?
That's what happens when you sit here a few times. You start getting, ESP.
Now it's skipped ahead. My question was about the minimum qualifications for career and technical ed faculty. Will this change satisfy the concerns that have been listed by the Higher Learning Commission at one or two of the colleges recently.
Dr. Gonzalez?
President Sullivan, Dr. Thor, I'll attempt to answer this question, and if it doesn't satisfy you, then we'll bring Bettina back up. It will not interplay with the the concern that HLC has raised on the Glendale's visit around qualification. This one here is really just cleaning up language. It makes it sound as if it's an either or an and or, and it's clarifying language. But we are working with HLC right now to resolve the problem that you brought up.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments and questions from board members? New board members, do you need any additional information? Okay, sounds good. So that will be an action item for us next time. There also will be a first read again of employment and separations for November 5, 22 through December 16, 2022. Any comments or questions on that possible item, or not possible, that item? Then we will go to the monitoring reports, a budget analysis report, Fund 1. And we have a placeholder budget analysis report, Fund 1 for months ending 12/31/22. Are there any comments or questions on those items? As usual in our meetings, we'll then move to community linkage, which is an opportunity for board members to call out or comment on their activity from the previous time that we've met, so current event summaries. And then, as you can see on your agenda review packet, that we then list the upcoming meetings, the most immediate. I will encourage you to work with the proposed schedule we've put down. I just want everyone to know that as we make notes, either on agendas or in this proposed meeting schedule, that everything is always subject to change. And sometimes meetings will pop up. We'll let you know as soon as we can on those. If there's something that you would like us to discuss that would like to be considered under work session, please let me know. And that's how we will keep moving forward. So with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting and to have us enter into executive session. So is there a motion for us to adjourn this meeting and move to executive session?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Bittersmith. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that, the board will adjourn into an executive session. We will be meeting on the second floor with Mrs. Falkenberg and Dr. Gonzalez. I want to thank all of you for being here this evening. It was a brief and short meeting, and thank you again for your support and your ongoing dedication, and it'll be a pleasure to work and serve you another year. So thank you. So our meeting is adjourned at 5:10. Board members will be heading to the second floor and we'll convene in about 5 minutes by the time we get there. Thank you.